Hey everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm still things have changed on the program that we use and it's being a little naughty. So John, am I on now? Okay, great. I see eyeballs coming on. How are all of you today? It's just a glorious day here in Livermore. It's going to get up to 70 in my 70s and my daffodils are starting to pop. So I'm very happy about that. Okay, so here's the deal today. Um, we're gonna go meet Clare O'Donohue, who was my producer, one of my many producers at Simply Quilts, and catch up with her with what's going on. She's an author now. And actually, she was interviewing me, and I liked what we did so much that I asked, could I please share it? And then the next thing we're going to do, as many of you know, this weekend was the Modern Quilt Guild. And Jennifer Sampu went and did a walk through Tara Fawnen's exhibit. She had a special exhibit and she's in my mini group. She's in the hood here in the Bay Area. And many people kind of word on the street, congratulations, Tara, is that what you offered up was amazing and was part of people's favorite part about QuiltCon. So that's gonna make you feel good, right? Then let's see. Yeah, I got some other things coming up I want to share with you. But in the meantime, our refrigerator broke. Yes. It's 3 years old. It's the 4th time they've had to come out. It's a GE profile. So I'm not throwing GE under the bus, but I might like to. What I would suggest you do is if you buy any major appliance these days, get the 5-year warranty. Oh, thank goodness. But now in the meantime, we've got all our food in ice chests, and I realized that things like my frozen scallops, shrimp, and all that, I'm gonna throw away. I mean, it can't just be refrigerated, you know? So, on that. I didn't get to go. I did not go to the show in Arizona, the Modern Quilt Guild thing. And in a sense, for that alone, I'm glad we didn't. I can't even imagine if I came home and if it was in the state it is in. And of course they have to order the part because nobody would have parts for a GE profile. No, no. The other thing before we get going is I want to show you I've been doing a lot of embroidery. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I'm a meanie weenie. And I've been doing a lot of these. I'm having a total blast working on it. It's somebody else's fabric that was dyed or painted on at the quilt show. And I'm adding like mad. This is going to be one of my segments at taping at the end of March. Okay. So I have something to tell you about Sarah Vettler too. Really cool thing she's offering us. But I want to say that I get Sue Spargo's newsletters. And you know I'm a maven for quilting. I mean quilting, and you know I'm a maven for walking foot, right? Or straight line. So this was in Sue Spargo's newsletter. Oh shoot, I have the last one. I hope that's it. Yeah. Catherine Redford, who actually has been on the show, has is teaching this technique, and I loved the imagery that they had on Sue Spargo's website or in her newsletter. But it kind of made me think about working with a walking foot. It expanded. I mean, all I was kind of thinking about was straight line matchstick, you know. So here's what caught my attention. So you can see now I know about the ziggy zags going down on the right hand side in the white. Okay, I get that. You just play with your machine and open up some stitches. But then look in the turquoise how little ziggy zags, baby ziggy zags are in there with the walking foot. And the part that I don't understand is how she did the spiral with the walking foot. But that thing is perfect, okay? And then look at this. Okay, there's your spiral. And then within some of the straight line quilting, there's zigzag thrown on top. I mean, the amount of texture that this is offering is amazing. And then why not throw in some handwork? I mean, just a couple of hand stitches. Well, you got the French knots, and then you've got the the crosses that kind of look like chicken scratch in the squares. And then on the left-hand side, you've got the straight going down that are obviously hand stitches. I'm telling you, I was totally grooving on this. So when you think about a simple design like straight line, what can you do to shake it up? And again, it's Catherine Redford, and you might want to search her on our website and watch her show. All right. So I've known Claire forever and ever, and this was a fun interview. From Simply Quilts to murder. How can that happen? I thought that was pretty clever. John came up with that. So here we go.
Hi, I'm talking today with my old friend Alex Anderson of the Quilt Show and many other things about Sunday quilts, my quilt series, and especially the new book, Storm at Sea. So, how are you, Alex?
Hey, Claire, I am so delighted to see you. I love your books. Of course, I'm drawn to the whole quilting murder mystery thing. And now you've circled back because you've done other things, right?
Yeah, I've written books, two different series. One called the Kay Conway Mysteries, which is about a true crime producer, because that's my day job, and the other is called World of Spies, about a couple that goes around the world and they work essentially as spies. But I kept getting emails about the Seminole Quilts. I wrote five books in this series, and two stories, and I pretty much thought I had finished it. I felt, there you go, that's the end. But I kept getting people emailing me asking me, well, what happens to this character? So I just what happens to Nell, who's the main character? And I just decided, what the heck, I'm going to write another book.
So here's the thing that I love about this series, particularly being a quilter myself. There's so much about connectivity, friendship, and people think, "Oh, I'm quilt," but no, that it goes much deeper. And you take those characters through the whole thing, and now we find out what happened to Nell.
Yeah, honestly, one of the reasons I wrote this series in the first place was because when you go to a big quilt festival like Houston, or even you go into a little quilt shop somewhere and you start talking to people that you would otherwise imagine you had nothing in common with. And then because you have quilting in common, it bonds you. And I think that was one of the things I remember sitting one time with this Mennonite woman in Indiana who was probably about 150 years old. Um, and I just came back from Malaysia, and she had never left Indiana. And we did not seem very much like we had much in common, but her stitches, she was stitching this quilt job. Her stitches were amazing. So we started talking about that. It started led us to a lot of other things, and we had a great conversation. And I just think that is a huge part of quilting, the community.
And you nailed it. You nailed it because the first book, it all starts with Nail going back to grandma's or something like that. And then that's
That's
how she
right.
gets
Yeah.
infused with the whole group.
Right, right. There's her grandmother Eleanor owns Someday Quilts in Archer's Rest, New York, which is upstate New York. It's a small town where the cemetery is bigger than the population of the town, so there's more dead than alive. And she has never quilted. She doesn't at the beginning really have much interest in quilting, but she gets to know the ladies that are there, gets to be involved in the group, and um, very quickly, I think, becomes to realize how therapeutic quilting is, how much fun it is, how what an incredible art form it is, and and gets to be friends with the other women in the group, and of course solves murders, because that's what you do when you quilt.
Every time. Every time, Claire.
Yeah.
Well,
I do
well,
remember writing a book where you said to me that you wanted to be the murderer. She's not. There's no spoiler, but like you were like, "Can I be a murderer?" Yeah,
So this particular one is called Storm at Sea.
right.
And can we just give a little hint about how it starts? Because it does go back to Nell.
Yes, it starts page one with Nell's wedding, which is one of the things people kept asking me about. Does Nell get married to the person that she's been involved with, Jesse? And so it starts with Nell's wedding, and she's not going to really go on a honeymoon. They're just going to have like a weekend away sort of thing. But she gets word that she is could be a substitute teacher on a quilting cruise to Alaska. So she and Jesse decide to sort of join both the honeymoon and her working on this cruise and go get a free trip to Alaska. Which of course, murder. So there's got to be a murder. I
The
mean,
murderer there, not interested.
yeah, no, it's a happy little book with quilting and romance and, murder.
You think about it, Claire, we would have never met ever if it hadn't been for quilting,
No,
you know?
no, right. No, we absolutely wouldn't have met because I was hired as a producer on Simply Quilts back in 1999.
Is that when no, but I think it started in 94, but you didn't come on in the very
I didn't
beginning.
start until 99.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, but that's still almost 26 years ago. So I can't believe we've actually known it. I mean, I'm only 27, so I was super young.
I'm not going to say how old I was, but I wasn't this old.
Uh, but no, and it was, I already quilted before I started working on the show. And I think that was one of the things that was super helpful to me, was I knew the language of quilting,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. Well, so when does this book hit the shelves?
It's already out, so people could get it anytime. It's on Amazon. So yeah, I released it, it's been released. So I hope that people really enjoy it. You don't have to have read all the books in the series to enjoy this book because it doesn't have every character in the series in it, but um but you can start from the beginning, which is the Lover's Knot, and read all the way through. But you don't have to. You can simply just enjoy this book on its own.
Well,
Um,
I'm going to download it on my this thing, my reader thing. That can go with me wherever I go.
that's nice. I like those because they really are help. You can carry a lot of books with you, but not carry a
Mhm,
lot of
mhm,
weight,
mhm.
which is
So,
nice.
so is there any chance you'll do another one where I could be the murderer or the victim?
Oh, I wouldn't kill you, but sure, I can see you as a murderer. Uh,
Eh, 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 eh.
yeah, it's been a while since I've written these characters, and I forgot how much I really enjoyed that world, how much I enjoyed those characters. And so while I was writing it, other ideas started coming to me, and I just thought, oh, I'd love to write about this. And personally, I have, you know, some quilting mysteries are written by people who actually quilt, and some are not.
Can
And
you
you
tell the
can,
difference?
oh, geez, can ya? It'd be like if I wrote a book about hockey, like, I mean, they're still good books, the people who don't quilt, but you can really tell because they're not speaking the language of quilting. And so, it was so much fun for me to get back in there and such a great excuse to go to my quilt shop and be like, well, I need to make a new quilt. I need to make a Storm and Sea quilt. So yeah, I definitely would make, would write more books in this series. I think it's such a fun, it's fun to just hang out with them. It's fun to be in Archer's Rust.
Claire, I have to say, I want to say the right words. So I'm going to boil it to this. I am so happy for you. I am
Oh, thank
so
you.
happy for you because back then, I think it was a dream that I was aware of, and it has just unfolded for you beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting how much quilting has affected my life. My first job in television, I was a newspaper reporter before that, but my first job in television was on the quilt show.
Really?
And yeah, on Simply
How?
Quilts. Yeah, not on the
Oh,
quilt show, your show,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
Simply
yeah.
Quilts. And yeah, it was my first job in TV, but because I knew how to quilt and I knew how to write, I think that's what inspired them to go ahead and hire me. And I got to meet so many quilting heroes. I got to take home a lot of fabric and rulers I'm still using to this day that have the Quilt Simples logo on them. Um, and then when I wanted to write my first book, I just turned to quilting. I was like, well, I want to write something with quilting in it. And so it's extraordinary to me how much being a quilter has affected other areas of my life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, again, congratulations. And
Thank you.
if I were to go to Amazon, I'm asking like for a friend, but I really am. If I were to go to Amazon and or the local bookstore, that's what I should be saying, wherever you get your stuff, would all of your books be there in order?
Um, they, I don't know if Amazon puts them in order. I think they do list like first book, second book, third book.
Okay, okay.
So it's easy that way. You can also go to my website, ClareOdonohue, long name, .com,
Yeah.
and they also list it's also listed there, or you can just email me, but if you go to my website you can do that as well. But yeah, I think Amazon probably does. I don't know if they list them in physical order, but they definitely list
Yeah.
first book, second book,
But
third
but
book.
you could read this last one, Storm at Sea,
You
and
can
go, I love this,
absolutely.
and then go right through them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing, I don't think, certainly the mysteries aren't spoiled, right? Because every mystery is specific to the book. And you know, you don't know, you will know obviously that Jesse and Elle got married, but you can go to the first book and see the progression of their romance. Also, other romances that happen, and the other lives of the other quilters.
Well, this is so great. I thank you
Thank you.
for asking me to do this with you because, again, this just makes my heart happy. Seriously.
Oh, thank you so much. It's lovely to see you.
I know. Thanks. And oh, you don't have to be a quilter to read the book. Let me throw that in there either.
No, if you just enjoy, most of the people I think who reach out to me have read are not themselves quilters or weren't quilters. A couple of them have actually started, which is fun. Um, but no, you absolutely don't. It's a mystery. So just like you don't have to be well, you don't have to be a murderer. Sorry, Alex. In order to read a mystery, you don't have to be a quilter to read these.
Let's see. And I'll say this, and then I think I better shut up. Weapon of choice.
Yes, it is a very good weapon. That's the thing. We have a lot of weapons in our studios. You just don't realize it. Yes, exactly. We pretend we use them for other things, but they're there just in case.
Well, this is going south real fast.
Yeah, we'll stop here. We'll stop here. We will stop here. But thank you so much for doing this with me. It's so fun and so lovely to see you and spend a few minutes with you.
Thank you, Claire, so much. This was great.
Okay, that was fun. Oh, such good memories, such good memories. Jay Gallagher, I think she has about 10 books in her in all, and I think the quilting might be half of them. But they're real easy, fun reads. It's not like they're big brain benders or anything like that. A murder comedy. There you go. That's why I want to be the murderer. Okay, I want to zoom over to Instagram to Jennifer Sampu and look at Tara Fawnan's stuff. And again, we have I'm going to say backing up to Claire, we have a lot of links here on the side that you can go to, but her name, in case the links aren't there and you're watching this after the fact, Clare O'Donohue is her name. and it's the Someday Quilts series. So you got that. Okay. So this is when I always get nervous when I'm going to my screen, but I loved this interview that Miss Jennifer did.
The quilts particularly, and tell you my favorites of the show. And so I'm just going to keep popping on today live for little snippets, but I wanted to start with my friend Tara Fonin. She is the guest artist at QuiltCon, and she's also a neighbor of mine. We're both in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and I am blown away by her quilts. She's been doing it for many years. She's also a trained textile designer, and I have deep appreciation for her work. So let's take a look at Tara's work, but it's been since 2001, so come along with me. And if you're just joining, I'm going over Tara Fonin's work. Go around the outside? Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to go around the outside. Okay, so let's start. This is her pine burr that she made in 2015. It's all with little squares, and it's a traditional style. That'd be great. Yeah. And can you flip up those little pine burrs or no? See how it's constructed? You can go close in on that. That is so cool. So she must sew them row by row by row. And that's what it looks like on the back. Thank you, Katie. This is one of the most unusual quilts that we see at QuiltCon. Moving along. I was actually in class with her with Rosalie Days. We took a workshop and we were studying trees. So this is cool. She did strip piecing. I think it's raw edge. What'd she say here? Yeah, it's glue sticks. She was introducing glue sticks. So this is all raw edge, and I love how she quilted it with gold. This quilt is Jubilation, and this reminds me more of things that I like to do too, with all the color, so much color. And I enjoy seeing that not everything is perfect, right? Not everything is lining up. And you can see her big stitch and her choice of color and how she works with value is really interesting and effective. This is just a fun mod log cabin, and what I think is interesting about this log cabin is she doesn't show the steps. She's picking the same color, so it looks more like squares. You can see the seaming. Like when I do my log cabin, I step those colors so you get the jiggy jag, and she doesn't, which I think is a really interesting way to do a log cabin. This is one of her more powerful quilts, in my opinion, because she gangs up color, and I talk about that with my own log cabin, ganging up color. Whenever she gangs up the lime, and she gangs up the blues, and so when you step back, it has such a great color punch, and it focuses on each of her red and pink centers. This is string bar, and again, this is successful because of her value play. She's got all her lights in here, but the reason it works is because each corner, all four corners are dark, and they're like solid, and they ground the piece. And this is dark and solid, so that she can work with dynamic color. Let's see what else we like. This next one's one of my favorites.
So there's the middle of my list.
And boy, everyone else, it seems to be everyone else's favorite too. But this is called Railroad Crossing. And what I love about this quilt is that up close you don't see the pattern as much. I mean, you obviously see the triangles, but it doesn't really make sense until you start to pull back and you start seeing the secondary square come out. It's a fabulous, fabulous quilt, and it's a mastery of value.
And she's teaching a class on this one.
Oh, she is. When is she teaching it?
I think it's in April on her website.
Okay, so go to Tara's website if you want to take this class. It's probably online, right?
Yeah.
And she's very fun. Oh, she's great. She's the best. So I'm not going to take you through everyone, but we're going to give you a panel of the rest of Tara's work. These are the hourglass is one of my favorites. This one over here. And take a look at her website, and she's the keynote speaker here at QuiltCon. I love this piece. This is real yarn. And again, it's a bit wonky, but it's so fabulous. And then moving over here, one of my other favorites is this big ocean. And what I love about the big ocean is her use of all the dark values. So yes, we see the color and we see the contrast of the big X's, but when you look at the centers, this is so interesting how she plays with all the dark values. And it's such a subtle nuance that it invites you to look closer. And I think that's what's most amazing about Tara's work is it looks good from far away, mid-range, close range, and then when you're right on top, you see that she's worked with gold threads and the fabulous hand stitching that she's done. So I think we'll just walk through and get the other few quilts.
Everyone loves your jacket.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so I think, and then we'll just over to here. I don't think we've shown this last quilt. Sorry, you know what? It's like being at a concert. I've been talking so much, or screaming, or yelling like I do at concerts. Here at QuiltCon, it's the same thing. I have no voice. Okay, so this is double wedding ring. Also great. So I'm going to close out for now, but we'll go live again. And I'm going to show you my favorite quilts of the whole show, which takes some time. So I don't want to drag you through the whole thing, but come back again and I'll either post it or we'll go live again. All right, see ya. Here and
hold on, everybody. I got to get back to, there we go. Okay. Wow. It's funny. She is in my mini group, but I hadn't seen a lot of those. They're just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And that was Jennifer Sampu. And you may be very well familiar with her ombre fabrics that she does. So not only would I go to Tara's website, I would go to Jennifer Sampu, Sampou, her website, and get on their Instagram. And she's very active on Instagram, and enjoy. So let me tell you, before I wrap it up, I want to tell you that the girls were there, our people, and they got some interviews. And the first interview that I'm going to share is with the winner this year. And her name is Verushka Zarate. So here's the front of her quilt. And frankly, when I saw this, I was like, okay, you never know at QuiltCon what's going to win and what's not going to win. And I love this quilt, but I was kind of surprised. Okay. I could see it taking a first in Houston or whatever, but wait. Oh, hey, what about this? Look at the back of it. Okay. All right. So we got an interview with her for next Monday. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is that you might have gotten this in the newsletter, but Sarah Vettler came up with a magnificent idea. And it's basically a week-long deal with a bunch of different artists or different creators, different everything. And you can sign up for this thing. It's free, all right? The free online event will be happening from March 10 to 14. And when she asked me to do this, I was like, oh, I don't really think I should be doing this, because I'll tell you guys why. I feel like John's going to put a link up here in a minute. I feel like my creativity has been not in a great place. And I said, Sarah, we'll talk about why, we'll talk about all that. But then what blew my mind is right before I did this interview with her, I had a breakthrough. So mine will be something I've never really discussed before. And John actually wanted me to do a series on my creativity's broken. What should I do? But I was in the middle of my creativity being broken. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. And I was not It was nothing I really wanted to publicly discuss, okay? Because I can still do these, I can still do other things, but what happens, okay? And why does it happen? For instance, after 9/11, that October, late October, at Quilt Festival Market, huge facility, there were 9/11 quilts, back to back, all the way down the middle, all right? And, I couldn't even sit at my sewing machine. So we all react differently. Oh, the other thing is that we will, Alex Anderson and thequiltshow.com, we are having a giveaway when it's my special day. And, and you can sign up. It's a Quilter Select giveaway. The other thing is it is for free. But if you want this unlimited forever and ever, amen, I don't know what the fee is. You can pay a fee, but you can certainly get on for free. I know I will be attending. So I definitely want to thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. Off to the dentist. Take good care of your teeth. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye bye.